Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday, March 26, 2024 meeting of the Arroyo Grande City Council. Can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Secrest?
Here.
Councilmember George?
Here.
Councilmember Barnett?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Guthrie?
Here.
Mayor Ray Russum?
Here. Would you please silently join me in a moment of reflection? Thank you. And would you join me in the flag salute? Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. This takes us to item 5, agenda review. So we have a couple of things to talk about here on our agenda because we're going to have some movement going on. So the first thing to discuss before we get there is item 10A. And I'm going to turn it over to our city manager to explain what's going on there, and then I have an announcement to make for that.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council, Matt Downing, City Manager. Pursuant to policy, Administrative Policy A-029, under that subsection, the applicant has reached out to staff to discuss some concerns and issues with that item. So under that policy, we have recommended to continue that item to a date uncertain while we work through those items, and then we'll renotice it and rehear the public hearing at a later date.
Thank you. And regarding item 10A, and I wanted to make a statement about that and explain why I'm going to be stepping down from that. So I want to make a statement on the record in response to the comments regarding an email I sent to the applicant that was associated with item 10A, long before this became an item before the council. And in that email, I rejected a request that I independently meet with the applicant at his property site, since that property is the subject of a public hearing. My intent was to avoid an ex parte communication and site inspection that could negatively impact the hearing or potentially prejudice the applicant's due process rights. I also want to avoid the possibility that the council, the public, and the applicant may not have access to all the same information. I want to continue to steer clear of any appearance of bias, and so out of abundance of caution and at the applicant's request, I'm going to recuse myself from tonight's discussion, or I should say continuance and any future discussion of that item.
If I could just and since I will be running the public hearing, I did want to let those in the audience and online know that I will be opening it for public comment if anyone does want to comment on it this evening, and then we'll consider continuing it.
Thank you. So for closed session announcements, we have none tonight, and for ordinances, I will move that all ordinances presented at the meeting shall be read in title only, and that all further readings be waived.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Can we get a voice vote, please? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And a motion carries 5-0. That takes us straight to special presentations, and those of you who know me really well can tell I'm a little under the weather right now, so I have asked Mayor Pro Tem to do the honorary proclamation declaring the month of April 2024 as Month of the Child and Child Abuse Prevention Month. And I didn't look at the thing there.
Sorry.
Janie Sombomatsu is going to be meeting us at the dais. So nice to see you. We haven't seen you in a little while. Mayor Pro Tem, can we wait just 1 second? I think the mic's not on there.
Whereas Arroyo Grande City Council recognizes that every moment in a child's life is an opportunity for that child to learn that the quality of these experiences may determine whether a child succeeds in school and in life, and that children need caring and loving parents in their lives, And whereas April, Month of the Child and Child Abuse Prevention Month, marks a time to recognize that our community's children are precious, that the quality of their early years is our collective responsibility, and that we commit ourselves to ensuring that each and every child experiences a high-quality early environment at home, at child care, at school, and in the community that will promote their optimal development. And whereas, in solidarity with the We Are the Care initiative, we as a community of partners and leaders envision a San Luis Obispo County where all families can find and afford quality care for their children, and where child care professionals are valued in their critical role in building a solid foundation for children and families to thrive in the world. And whereas Saturday, April 6, 2024, will commemorate Day of the Child at the annual Children's Day in the Plaza celebration from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. in the San Luis Obispo Mission Plaza, where children and families will have the opportunity to discover creatively, individuality, diversity, while exploring community resources and piquing curiosity around science, technology, engineering, and math. Whereas on Friday, April 26, 2024, San Luis Obispo County will participate in the statewide raising of the Children's Memorial Flag to honor and raise awareness about the many children in our midst who suffer daily from abuse and neglect, and pledge our support for strategies that strengthen families and protect our young ones as part of the national recognition of April as Child Abuse Prevention Month. And now, therefore, be it resolved that I, for Karen Ray Russum, Mayor of the City of Arroyo Grande, do hereby proclaim April 24th as Month of the Child and Child Abuse Prevention Month.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Madam Mayor and esteemed council members, thank you again for having me up here, and I do hope to be up here on a semi-regular basis. You saw me much too often for a few years there, I feel. Many of you know me on the and I'm Jamie Samba Matsu. I direct Valley View Children's Center, which is a faith-based nonprofit here in Arroyo Grande as a child care and early education center. And I've been part of early care and learning in the community of Arroyo Grande for over 30 years and have loved every minute of it. But tonight, I'm actually representing our San Luis Obispo County Early Care and Education Planning Council in accepting this for them. We are in partnership with families in the community and plan for and promote the highest quality and accessible services for care of all children and youth. Thank you for your support over the years in creating a connected community for our children. The age-old adage is that it takes a village to raise a child, and we are grateful for our village. It includes leaders like all of you that not only recognize but honor, support, and even fund the essential programs for our children and families. On a personal note, I do want to thank you on behalf of those of us in early care here in Arroyo Grande for your support during COVID and the ARPA grants that you gave to our businesses that allowed us to stay sustainable and keep our staffs employed. During that challenging time, it was greatly appreciated by my colleagues. In recognizing April as Month of the Child, we recognize that our youngest citizens rely on all of us as the adults and leaders in their lives to build a world where they can not only grow but thrive. While we may not all be in the classroom helping a little one learn the necessary skills of balance and spatial recognition as they build a block tower, we as the adults and leaders wield immense power to shape future generations and impact change. That power comes from how we support funding for programs like outdoor spaces that provide inclusive learning opportunities for children of all ages and abilities, or how we advocate for family resources like access to food and early intervention services. Thank you for taking the time this month to pause and reflect on how we as adults and leaders can impact our community's children, families, in every decision that is made within these council chambers. We also recognize April as Child Abuse Prevention Month to acknowledge that child abuse prevention activities succeed because of partnerships created between child welfare professionals, education, health, community faith-based organizations, businesses, law enforcement agencies, and families. I'm wearing blue today in honor of my commitment to preventing child abuse and to show support for all those agencies working together to promote programs and activities that create strong and thriving children and families, because every child deserves a hero. We invite all of you to join us at the annual Children's Day in the Plaza, Saturday, April 6th at Mission Plaza in downtown San Luis Obispo. The festivities start at 10 a.m. with special recognition for all of you as our local leaders and dignitaries. We also have a guided tour to provide an opportunity for you to meet with some of the local partner agencies. Again, thank you for taking this time to honor April as Month of the Child and Child Abuse Prevention Month. We hope this day is only a reminder of our collective responsibility to support our community's children and families every single day. I have with me for each of you some artwork done by the Cuesta College Children's Center, and I hope that you can see in this work that it's not just random swipes. Art displays motion, texture, and value, and it's valuable in creating new synaptic connections in their brains as they learn motion and creativity. And I'll leave some posters and invitations over here on the desk for you to the Children's Day. If I may approach.
Please do. It's not court, so you can definitely approach. But if you would give them to the clerk, and she'll pass those out and make record of those. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Well, and before you go, you made a little apology about being up here so often before, and I just wanted to take a moment to give you a quiet counter to that, that before you started coming, childcare was not on this council's radar. And you single-handedly did that as you brought
thank
We
you.
Are the Care Forward. And it's so nice to see you here. It's so nice to have the partnership we have because of your efforts, and I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to you for being part of our community government in this county, which has made a huge success from north to south. It's all in this together. And I say a lot about my Arroyo Grande Council. I really appreciate everything you did. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, and then we can pass those down, and maybe we can put them out in front of us. That'd be awesome. All right, this takes us to item 6B. This is our city manager's report.
Well, the children's artwork, I got caught off guard.
I know, right?
Well, thank you, Mayor, members of council. Again, Matt Downing, your city manager. A couple of updates for you this evening. The first that I wanted to mention is this Saturday, rain or shine, we will be having the wonderful annual egg hunt starting at 10 a.m. at Elm Street Park and moving down to Soto Sports Complex after that. Again, it is rain or shine. We are seeing increased chance of precipitation, heavy precipitation on Saturday. And so we are going to double check and make sure that that's actually going to impact us tomorrow, and we'll be putting in some backup plans on what to do and where to move and things like that in case we need to. So we are looking at that, monitoring it, but it is a rain or shine event, and so we appreciate our recreation department for putting that on. I also wanted to note for the council that next week on April 2nd and 3rd, we will have a crew out weaving permanent controllable LED lights onto our beautiful redwood at the entrance to the village. The crew will be working in the evening on both of those days in order to avoid truck traffic. And this is a project that's in partnership with the Arroyo Grande Rotary Clubs of Arroyo Grande and the Pismo 5 Cities Club, who are sponsoring this year-round tree lighting that we will be able to change for the different seasons, different events, things like that, make it blue and yellow for graduation, all fun things like that. So a couple of updates for you this evening, and we'll turn it back over to you, Mayor.
Thank you. And I do just want to highlight that because that was something the community's talked about, lighting that tree for a really long time. And I got contacted by one of the two Rotaries asking for a project, and I wrung my hands and said, "What do you think about lighting this tree?" And it turned out to be very expensive, and so they partnered together, two Rotaries, to get it done. I am so grateful for that, and I can't wait to see that thing lit up. I'm so excited about that. I'm hoping for CIF championships, Valentine's Day, Christmas, all that. Okay, great. So let's check in with the council, see if there is any questions of the city manager. And seeing none, we'll move forward to item 7. Item 7 is city council reports. Mine is first, and for our first one, and sorry, I'm clicking around here I was trying to find a quote and I couldn't, but the CJPIA, while it has not met, I did receive the audited financial statements, and as usual, I was looking for it used to be unmodified, clean, but I can't remember what the wording is, but whatever it is, it's good and everything's fine. So CJPIA will meet in another few months. Central Coast Blue did meet, but I was not there that evening, so I'll leave that to our other representatives. 5 City Fire Authority, excuse me. I will leave that to my compatriot, because she takes better notes than I do. The San Luis Obispo County Mayor's meeting, I believe Councilmember Secrest attended that one, so she'll be giving you that one. And South San Luis Obispo County Sanitation District did meet, and all is well. And it is basically, we did the rotation of the chair, and we looked again at, I think it was report number 7 of the clarifier damage and what's happening to repair that. The only thing of note is that we're hoping in another, I'll say 12 months, and that's probably a lie. So we're significantly behind schedule, but at this point, again, there is no indication that that is going to fall on the backs of our taxpayers. That'll be covered by insurance and other things of the groups that were responsible for the design and construction. So with that, that is my report, and I'll turn it over to Mayor Pro Tem Guthrie.
So I will start with the Integrated Waste Management Authority. So we have started our budget process for next year. You'll be glad to know that we're probably looking at another decrease in the fees that are collected there. It's a combination of, call it being conservative on the rejoining with the county, but one of the key changes, difference is that our costs are based on the waste haulers' fees. So our fee is a percentage of that, and their costs are going up significantly faster than our costs are. So we will be looking at the possibility of a different methodology. Otherwise, we'll be making an adjustment like almost every year, because good news that our costs don't go up equally. So pretty good news there all around. We also approved a records retention policy there. I think the policy got canceled during the controversial time, we'll call it, and we were running out of space, so we had to do something. The Water Resources Advisory Committee. So after some discussion, we did forward our conclusion on from the ad hoc committee on the Dana Reserve to the supervisors, which basically said as far as the specific water issues go, we did not find any significant problems there. There are plenty of other issues, but our conclusion there was that was not one of them. And then finally over to the RTA. The first buses should be here by now, and they are in fact going to be testing them. Locally, you may have seen that we have the new smaller what they call a tilt-up bus, the smaller size buses around town, which are a lot more efficient, a lot easier to drive, and at least in Grover Beach will fit into some neighborhoods where we've been unable to go before. We also working on our budget assumptions there for this year. Again, nothing particularly drastic there. Ridership is still down. A lot of the local ridership is starting to come back, but the sort of the star has always been the regional trips, and they are not coming back as quick as the other ones. And they did mention that the LTF may become an issue, probably not this year, but may in the future, that they will be needing to use local transportation funds, which we use for streets, but their first priority is operations for local transportation. So at any rate, not this year, but something to be thinking about in the future. And there was no REACH meeting. I do think everybody got copied on REACH's. They had several big reports come out. I think you may have seen also that the launch sites out at Vandenberg have received really significant funding for what's called pre-satellite construction out there. So things are really happening again out of Vandenberg. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Councilmember Barnich?
Thank you. Let's see, I had the 3 meetings last week. I attended the CCB meeting for the mayor and Zone 3 and HSOC. So start with the HSOC meeting. Homeless Services Oversight Council met on March 20th. The biggest discussion was regarding a handful of grants that the county was allocating, totaling approximately $5 million. We approved some of those. There were two that we continued to a date uncertain because of some issues with some opinions of some of the South County council members regarding the funding for those. Long story short, the South County was falling short on some grants to Five Cities Homeless Coalition. They had applied for over $3 million in grants for the Barca project, the warming center, and the Cabins for Change. They were awarded just $600,000. So we received a letter from Jana Nichols before the meeting, and this was for 2 years. And Barca is set to open in 2 weeks. As it sat at that meeting, if she didn't receive more money than what was allocated in those two grants that they were recommending to us to push up to the board of supervisors, they were going to have to close the cabins. So the Barca project that's set to open will serve 39 clients, and with the hopes of cycling 3 of those rotations a year. So in real time during the meeting, some of the board members were trying to move around money in real time, sometimes like we do with our spreadsheets. But I wasn't in favor because I was unfamiliar as Clint Wyrick and then also Marsha Guthrie from Pismo and Grover Beach were also unfamiliar with the projects as far as taking money away. You know, they weren't in our city. So in the end, Supervisor Ortiz-Legg suggested that we state our priorities for the grant funds since they've become so much smaller, and we send it back to the Grant Review Committee. There was a North County council member that spoke during the board comments, basically telling the South County cities, because we had somewhat been concerned and complained that, you know, that Jana had been asked to stand up these shelters, and all of a sudden the funding was kind of gone for them. He talked about his council putting a line item in the budget for homeless services, and I commented on the record that, you know, our CDBG, we give money, and the ARPA funds, we've given money to homeless services. But it was a little bit of a controversial meeting. There was some people that were, you know, a little bit upset here and there. So I'll let you know how that all comes out, but Jana was visibly concerned, but we'll see how it comes back to us. In April, that'll come back to the HSOC, the full HSOC board. Central Coast Blue meeting, March 18th, very well attended meeting, lots of public comment. Councilmember Guthrie attended, as well as the 3 city managers and most of the public works directors. As most of the council probably knows, maybe not the public, we lost about $10 million of a $15 million grant from the State Water Resources Board. And construction costs on that project are way up. In 2022, they were estimated to be $85 to $112 million. Now they're estimated to be $134 to $159 million. This is not uncommon. It's common across the state that these have doubled, or in some cases even more than that, recycled water projects. So project management team is putting a pause on the project to consider all of our alternatives. Zone 3, very short meeting. We recommended approval of the 2024-25 budget, push that up to the Board of Supervisors. As you know, Lopez Lake is 100% full, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Downing, do we have a date certain for when that discussion is going to happen here so that our residents can know when they would be able to talk to us about CCB should they desire?
Yes, Mayor, we will have an item on our April 9th council agenda to talk about our water supply, our rates, and potentially inform you and the public about Central Coast Blue.
Great. Thank you very much. All right, Councilmember George.
Thank you. We had a special meeting for Five Cities Fire Authority on March 7th. And just a little background, we currently are in contract with Oceano to provide services to the community at $1.15 million, expiring June 30th of this year. The county is offering $1.7 million. The discussion really is around the fight that we've been having, that's been ongoing, about wanting three-person engines, and currently we have two three-person engines and one two-person engine. The $1.7 million that the county is offering would maintain that two-person engine. And then we just really discussed what that contract would look like and gave direction to staff. So I'll just give you some points for the directions that we gave staff. We were in favor of a multi-year contract, preferably 3 years with a 1 to 2 year optional extension. We wanted to continue to look into the $130,000 oversight expense that the county charges for overseeing contracts. We prefer to have that third engine be a three-person engine staffing, but we would be willing to contract for a two-person engine with the intent to increase that staffing. And we'd like somewhere in the agreement to have some reassurances that Station 3 would be added to the county's CIP so that they can update and make that a functioning station. There will be no station remodels required for Station 1 or Station 2 if we maintain the current staffing levels that we have. If we do increase to three-person for that third company, we would require some configuration of Station 1 to accommodate that extra staff, and Station 2 would also need some type of reconfiguring. Let's see, we wanted to discuss contract increases. So as contracts that we bear increase, such as dispatch and other services, we would pass those increases at the same percentage that we received to the county as well to support. Let's see. Really, the biggest issue that we have in this discussion is whether or not to, if we don't contract with the county for services for Oceano, then we would look at just Arroyo Grande and Grover, and it would look like we would be increasing our, what each city would have to pay in, and we would lose staff. So we're really hoping to work out a contract that would avoid that. And Mayor, is there anything else I missed?
No, I think you hit that right on the nose.
Okay.
The one thing that I would add is, it's been just a little frustrating because it feels like the board continues to say what we want and their board continues to say what they want, and we're not. I'm looking forward to hoping to see a little bit more daylight, or maybe less daylight
Yeah.
between us, so that we can make a decision quickly before the contract runs out at the end of the fiscal year.
Correct.
So our fingers are crossed.
Yes. And a Visit Slow Count only meets twice a year in June and December, so I have no updates there. Thank you.
Can I ask one question? Lon, the three-person engine companies that your board requested or put in the proposal, you said that was there a timeline for that?
No.
Okay.
It would just be written somehow in the contract that we would be working towards that.
The county has said absolutely not for 3-0.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilmember Secrest.
Thank you. Thank you. Oops. Thank you, Mayor. Okay, so Air Pollution Control District didn't meet this last month, although the subcommittee involving the three South counties, which I'm on, will meet on Thursday. In terms of the mayor's meeting, that was hosted by Pismo Beach, and Dave, is it Milno? Mullinax from California League of Cities spoke, and we also had a Zoom meeting with California League of Cities lobbyist in Sacramento. And there's no easy description here. It's centered on the budget deficit and the effects on everyone. I think it was Mayor Wege that pointed out two versions of how, sorry, it was Dave that pointed out two versions of the numbers. in terms of how bad the cuts will be. One is the governor's version, and the other is the one involving math based on the legislative analysts. So they went through a lot of different scenarios in terms of what could be cut and how. But the bottom line is mostly everything's up in the air until the end of April when the revision is done. So, and then, so that's it for that, really. In terms of South County Chambers of Commerce Government Affairs meeting and Chambers of Commerce in general, they have switched over to the format of the first Wednesday, and it's in conjunction with the Rise and Shine, where the government leaders speak. Sorry, just one second, I had it. Okay, so tomorrow, March 27th, they have a mixer at Camp Arroyo Grande, and there's still time to sign up for that if folks want to. The Rise and Shine will have the regional business meeting on 4/3 at 7:30 to 9 in the South County Regional Center. And from 9 to 9:30, there's going to be a membership, I guess, seminar, you would say, directed by Rod Brown. So right after the Rise and Shine, for anyone that's a new member and would like to explore all the different benefits of membership and how to, I guess, meet those to their advantage. And the South County Chamber of Commerce Government Affairs Committee is going to be talking about housing. And we'll get updates from government leaders then. So, thank you.
All right, great. This takes us to item 8. This is community comments and suggestions. This is your chance to come forward and speak to the council on items that are not on tonight's agenda. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes and, of course, address the council as one body. So let's go ahead and open up public comment on the floor in here. If anyone has comments on items that are not on tonight's agenda, please come forward. And seeing no one here, let's check in with the city clerk.
If any members of the public on Zoom would like to make a comment, please raise your hand. There are no raised hands.
Thank you. So we'll close public comment and we'll move on to the consent agenda. This is items 9 collectively, A through 9F. So first I'll check in with the council and see if anyone would like to ask questions about one or pull one for separate consideration.
I'd like to pull 9F for separate consideration, just to
9F.
abstain.
Okay. Okay, and, all right, 9F then. So, Councilmember George?
I just recused myself from that item, so I just wanted to vote separately on that, so I could abstain. That was it. Thank you.
All right. So let's go ahead and open up public comment. If the public would like to speak on items, any of the items that begin with 9, now is your chance to come forward. And seeing no one in chambers, again, we'll check in with the city clerk.
If any members of the public on Zoom would like to make a comment, please raise your hand. There are no raised hands.
And we'll close public comment and bring this back to the council, and we can discuss, or if someone would like to make a motion, perhaps excluding 9F and doing that one separately.
Madam Mayor, I move approval of items 9A through 9E.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Okay, can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Barnich?
Yes.
Councilmember George?
Yes.
Councilmember Secrest?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guthrie?
Yes.
Mayor Ray Russum?
Yes.
Madam Mayor, I move for approval of item 9F.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, can we get a roll call for that, please?
Councilmember Barnich?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guthrie?
Yes.
Councilmember George?
Abstain.
Councilmember Secrest?
Yes.
Mayor Ray Russum?
Yes. So that concludes item 9E. This takes us to public hearing item 10A, and as I mentioned in item 5, I will be recusing myself, so I will leave the room and turn it over to Mayor Pro Tem Guthrie and Councilmember George.
Thank you. I live in close proximity to this item, so I will also be recusing myself. Thank you.
All right. See you in a few. Give us just a
And with that, we'll move on to item 10A, which is a public hearing on a continued public hearing to consider a resolution denying the installation of one domestic well on a property zoned planned development, applicant Michael Harris and Representative Richard Burde. And with that, I'll turn it over for a quick report from staff.
Certainly, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, Matt Downing, City Manager. So as I mentioned earlier, we are recommending the continuation of tonight's public hearing to a date uncertain. We will renotice the public hearing when that item is scheduled, and we'll provide an opportunity to speak at that time.
And with that, since we did actually continue this to a date certain, which is today, I did want to give any members of the public who are here who would like to speak on this item the opportunity. And seeing no one here in chambers, we'll go to...
If any members of the public on Zoom would like to make a comment, please raise your hand. There are no raised hands.
Okay. And with that, I'll bring it back to council for comment and any motion.
I would move to continue the matter, close the public hearing and continue the matter to a date uncertain.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Barnich?
Yes.
Councilmember Secrest?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guthrie?
Yes.
All right, thanks, everyone. And forgive the delay. We lost sound in the other room, so we weren't 100% sure that the vote had happened. So thank you very much.
Madam Mayor, sorry for the interruption. I just want to confirm that there's sound on the broadcast before we continue.
Sounds good. It was only for that last, we heard the motion and then that was it. So that's when it snapped out. We're good? Okay, thank you very much. So this brings us to item 12, new business. This is consideration of an annual report of adoption of a resolution of intention for the levy of the annual assessment for the Arroyo Grande Tourism Business Improvement District. And as is annually my custom, because I am one who pays into the TBID because I have a short-term rental, I'm announcing my conflict. So I will be stepping down from this. And again, turning it over to Mayor Pro Tem Guthrie.
Oh, and Madam Mayor, I will be recusing myself as well. I have a short-term rental also in Arroyo Grande.
All right, so we'll see you for item 13.
Mayor Pro Tem, I'm receiving a message that we need to pause briefly, potentially technical difficulties.
All right, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, I think if you'd like to call a brief recess, and then we can suss out the scope of the technical issue.
All right, with that, we'll go ahead and take a recess to a time uncertain.
Yeah.
I think I'll just leave it on. I can take a hint. All right.
Mayor Pro Tem, I think we can get started. Our understanding is the sound is working on YouTube, and the remote option is being offered as a courtesy. So I would suggest we can re-adjourn the meeting and continue.
Should we put a message on the regular TV that they could join through? Can we? Never mind. Okay. So with that, I will reopen the meeting, and we will move on with the agenda. So first, there was no old business, so we'll move on to item 12A, which is consideration of the annual report, adoption of a resolution of the intention for the levy of annual assessment for Arroyo Grande Tourism Business Improvement Group. And I'll turn it over to city staff for the initial report.
Yes, so I will be filling in for Director Bolkin, who's under the weather today. So as soon as we get the PowerPoint up and running. So Mayor Pro Tem, as you mentioned, this is consideration of an annual report and adoption of a resolution of intention for levying of annual assessment for the Arroyo Grande Tourism Business Improvement District, or also known as the AGTBID, or just TBID. So on this next slide, we'll look at a little bit of background. So the AGTBID was established under the Parking and Business Improvement Law of 1989 and has been in operation for approximately 10 years. The purpose of the district is to provide revenue to defray the cost of services, activities, and programs promoting lodging businesses in the TBID by marketing the scenic, recreational, cultural, and other attractions as a tourist destination. An assessment is levied on all lodging businesses within the TBID boundaries. It is based upon 2% of the rent that's charged by the operators per occupied room per night for all transient occupancies. And as directed by the council beginning July 1, 2023, city staff have been administering the TBID. Revised bylaws also went into effect at the start of fiscal year 23 to 24, allowing each member of the city council to appoint one member of the TBID advisory board. Here we see the budget. So the anticipated assessments for fiscal year 23-24 total approximately $309,000. The AGTBID budget provides $5,000 to the city to cover a portion of community services specialists looking into vacation rental code compliance, as well as another $45,000 to administer the TBID itself. The budget also identifies $225,000 for marketing services, and line items have also been identified for co-op opportunities, so partnerships with other agencies in larger accounts such as Sojourn or Monopoly, as well as event sponsorships. On this next slide, we'll get into marketing efforts before I turn it over to our marketing partners here this evening. So the TBID's goal is to help drive tourism efforts here in Arroyo Grande. Since 2018, the TBID has partnered with Verdin Marketing to provide marketing services to develop the Visit Arroyo Grande website, craft monthly newsletters, develop advertising campaigns, create a strategic plan, as well as enhance social media and paid media strategies. Verdin's work efforts also include a fresh perspective and innovation to identify and target specific demographics and geographic markets, in order also to gather fresh visual content for the website and access markets for advertising. And from these efforts, Verdin Marketing has produced an annual report for the council's approval, reflecting the work that has been completed from between March 2023 and January of 2024. And there are many highlights to Verdin's report: new campaigns, increases in website traffic, paid media efforts, things like that. So at this point, I will turn it back over to Natalie Bovee, which I sincerely hope I pronounced your name correctly, of Verdin Marketing, to share their slides.
Thank you for having me here today. My name is Natalie Bovee. I'm the account manager with Verdin Marketing, the marketing agency of record for Visit Arroyo Grande. Also joining me today is our president and CEO, Mary Verdin, and via Zoom is our CSO, Ashlee Akers. Tonight, as Matt said, I'm here to present the annual report covering our marketing efforts from March 2023 to February 2024. I first want to start with a congratulations. We are excited to share 2 awards with City Council for the past year of our work: a Markham Award for the new website and recently an Addie Award for our No Weekend Needed campaign, encouraging midweek stays and off-season stays. So as a reminder, our marketing goals are to position Arroyo Grande as a travel destination, to increase overnight stays, and to introduce new visitors to the destination. And so let me share a little bit about our target audiences. So our target audience aligns with Visit SoCal's audience approach to target the purposeful traveler, as well as a secondary audience, families. I won't read this word for word, it's a little long, and you do have it in your more comprehensive report in your board packets. So the purposeful traveler is 54% female, married. Their household has 30% of the households have children. They've graduated college, and they do have a higher income at over $142,000 a year, and the average age is 45.5. And let me share a little bit about our strategic plan. This is something that I'm sure you guys have all seen and are familiar with when we've presented in the past. So our strategic plan has served as really our North Star, guiding us in all that we do until June 2024, and it outlines our imperatives, objectives, and initiatives. So this fiscal year, we completed 3 initiatives from our strategic plan, including our brand photo shoot in April, where we gathered fresh visual content, both photos and videos, to really enhance our presence across the multiple platforms that we use. We also did a website redesign that launched in April that provided a really new look and feel, aligning with our brand colors and themes. And again, just to tout, we did again receive a Markham Award, an honorable mention we're proud of. Additionally, we partnered with some of our local businesses for a California 101 Traveler's Guide full-page ad in the fall that really highlighted the destination as a hidden gem and shopping destination. So let me share some of our results. So as you can see, this is our transient occupancy tax. We don't have a complete year of data for this fiscal year, so this shows from July 2023 to January 2024. I can share that the most recent report for TOT in the county shows AG is down 3% compared to last year, but multiple communities are experiencing this trend. Our neighbors in Paso are down 4.5%. SLO is down 0.4%, and Morro Bay is down 11% year over year. We expected this softening due to a higher demand during COVID, which you can see when you look at 2021 and 2022. Since our gateway cities were closed, and compared to fiscal year 19, which isn't reflected on here, we were up 40%. So right now, we're looking at that trend here from fiscal year 1920 to 23-24. Comparatively, fiscal year of 19 was 596,000 compared to fiscal year, which was over 832,000. So we're actually performing above. And onto our email marketing efforts. So we do distribute over we distributed 12 newsletters this year to over 1,400 subscribers, and we did see a 15% year over year increase, and also a 12% increase in our open rate at 49.2%, and an average click-through rate of 3.89%, which was up 15% year over year. Also, for our website, you'll see 114% increase in website visits, that's sessions, a 77% decrease in time on site. And one explanation about that decrease in time on site. So in 2023, Google Analytics upgraded their platform to GA4, and with that change came new metrics. Previously, we reported the average session duration, which took into account all visitors to the site, whether they visited one page or multiple pages. It's now called average engagement time, which factors in multiple touch points. So with this change, we did see that 77% decrease, but we are working with our web team to optimize the site and to really figure out how we can get more of those engaged users. So we'll be looking at adding additional content to the site so that people will kind of stay and learn more. That comes with the blogs and the itineraries. Content is really king. And then any optimizations on load time to ensure that there's no stickiness, so you're not getting to the site and it's so slow that you're, staying there for a minute and leaving. And blogs. So a significant milestone was the introduction of blogs as a pivotal component of the marketing strategy. With the launch of the new website, original content was created to enhance our online presence and engagement. So throughout the year, AGTBID crafted some really insightful blogs about the destination, infused with targeted keywords to optimize search engine visibility and really drive that organic traffic. And these blogs were disseminated across our owned channels, including our website, e-newsletters, and social media, garnering that over 13,000 total views. I should say that is my brother in the picture right there. On the social media side, we had great growth over the past year with Facebook and Instagram as our two performing platforms. So for Facebook, we saw a 15% year-over-year increase in followers, and also, so that brought us to over 7,100 followers. We had an 8% year-over-year increase in engagement. That's your likes, your shares, your comments. And we saw a 14% increase in impressions. For Instagram, we also had some really great performance. We saw a 16% increase year-over-year with followers, as well as a 22% increase in engagement. And also, impressions were down slightly at 34%. Assuming that this could be from some of those algorithm shifts that we see with social and Meta these days. So there was a slight shift in impressions. And moving on to our campaign creative, this is the fun part. So we did run 2 campaigns, including the extension of our Time Well Spent campaign that leverages the core messaging from the county, life is too beautiful to rush, making sure our messaging really aligned with the idea of just spending quality time in the destination. We also launched our No Weekend Midweek advertising campaign back in September 2022, which promotes off-season overnight stays in the destination, more of those Monday to Wednesday stays. And that campaign continued into this fiscal year, targeting millennials and retirees in our key California drive markets. So you'll see in this next set, example messaging highlights cost savings as the biggest benefit to midweek stays, along with uncrowded access to dining and our activities. We'll share a few videos. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped this slide, but here are a few videos. This first one is our 30-second, or excuse me, this one is our midweek campaign creative that really leverages a diverse range of talent and locations throughout town and encourages people to book today. This is another example. I'm not sure if you can hear it. So we are experiencing a little bit of a technical difficulty. Just a little bit of a bummer. They're so fun. We'll skip over that since you can't hear it. I'm sorry about that. I'm not sure what's going on the back end. This is an example of our SlowCal 2024 Visitors Guide placement, showing our family enjoying the outdoors amongst the farmers market, just indulging. They have the opportunity to indulge in Michelin-rated cuisine and world-class wine, take advantage of, coastal California. And these are our display ads that are encouraging people to book now, used for our Google Performance Max. And so let's move on to cover our media plan. So this is an example of our paid media breakout, which combines traditional print, digital options like our video pre-roll ads, our Google ads, connected TV there at 49%, which is a large portion of the breakout. And also social media, which includes our boosted posts, and at one point we were running a TikTok ad as well. So our overall objectives really here are to build awareness among our key audiences by deploying our creative messaging to specific personas based on our destination offerings. We incorporate strategic targeting by concentrating these messages in our key geographic areas where that messaging will really resonate and encourage people to come and stay overnight. And then also our other objective is really to increase engagement by optimizing the content for clicks to drive people back to our website. And here is just a breakout of our media timeline. As you can see, there are certain times of the year in our that we're always on. So that's search ads are running from July through June. There's a slight pause for our video digital that goes from August through June. And then also we do participate with our Central Coast Tourism Co-op December through March. And then you'll also see our SlowCal Visitors Guide, which displays usually November through June. And here are some of the results for programmatic CTV, over 824,000 impressions and a 99% completion rate. For paid search, over 61,000 impressions and 4,500 clicks. Our programmatic video pre-roll had over 815,000 impressions and 2,000 clicks. Our Google Performance Max, that is over 5.4 million impressions, 55,000 clicks, and 23,000 conversions. Instagram and Facebook, over 960,000 impressions and 20,000 clicks. So our total paid media results garnered over 8.3 million impressions and 87,000 clicks. So as part of our public relations efforts, we do have relationships with Visit California, Central Coast Tourism, and SlowCal, where we take advantage of all of the offerings that they have, including co-op. This is where we spend most of our time pitching the destination to the different outlets and really just using those relationships to leverage the destination. So you'll see in your board packets a little bit more information about how we do that. Questions?
Thank you. Thank you for that presentation, and thank you for all those analytics. I had a few questions for you. I think it was 2 summers ago, so summer and a half ago now, we had asked you about whether or not you would be dipping your feet into influencers, especially since TikTok back, 2 years ago, it was kind of booming. So I know, like with the influencers, TikTok, Instagram, you get them to come, they speak about the city, it's more organic. Are you making any strides in that direction, or is that something you're not pursuing?
It's something that we hope to pursue. We do have a smaller budget for public relations. So right now, currently, it allows us to pitch towards Visit California, CCTC, SlowCal, and then there are some leftover budget that we can consider. As you know, influencers these days do like pay to play, so it can be quite expensive. We do want to work with our CCTC, Visit California, to try to get and capture some of the influencers or traditional journalists that are coming through town. So we do get inquiries. It's a matter of making sure that they're the right partner for our destination as well. So, and that we can partner together with the budget that we have.
Okay, thank you for that. My next question is the social media timeline. Can we throw that slide back up? There was a timeline for all the media.
Yes.
And
Oops, sorry, let me see.
It's near the end.
Hold on. I'm not sure if I know how to get back with this computer. Sorry. Thanks for viewing. There we go. Sorry, we'll get there.
No problem.
Here we go.
That
This is
one,
our
yes.
media timeline.
Thank you. I was curious about the 2-month break for social media. So is that the month of December and the month of January?
It's for boosted posts.
Okay. Okay, so you're just not boosting posts during but you're still actively posting?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that clarification. And then I saw, I think it might be the next slide or the slide after. No, keep going. It's that one. Central Coast, California, is that new? Like, I guess I'm not as familiar
No.
with that, or I mean, that logo looks, I feel like I've never seen that before.
Central Coast Tourism Council, they are representative of tourism stretching from, I believe, Santa Cruz all the way to Ventura, I believe. And actually, Ashlee Akers sits on the board for that as well. They are a huge partner for us. They are supporters of that California road trip as well. So they are also partners with Visit California. So they have been around, I'm not sure how long. I don't know if Ashlee Akers is on the line and is able to answer that question a little bit more in depth.
They are actually a region of Visit California. Visit California
Okay.
has broken the state into 11 regions, I think it is.
Right, stretching from Santa Cruz all the way, I believe, past Ventura County.
Okay. I don't know why, I just never noticed that before, so.
That is a new logo.
Okay, I was like,
It's been around for a while.
okay. Perfect, thank you. Those are my questions. Thank you so much for your hard work.
Does
Mary,
anyone-
if, next time, you can use the mic. Okay. Go ahead. No questions? Yeah, I do have a couple of questions. Yeah, CCTC has been around as long as I've been up here.
I know, I was trying to remember the year they were established, but
And maybe it was, if you went back to the one just before this one, because it may have, okay, that's not what I was thinking of. Okay. So
I can,
So one of my questions is, well, it was just one that I maybe wasn't quite paying attention to. One of my questions is specifically around, what are the primary drivers to our website? So we've seen what happens when we put out an ad and somebody responds to it, but is that our primary driver, or are they other websites, or? I'll give you an example. I ran the Spyglass in. Our primary driver was actually Pismo Beach's website, was 25% of the driver to our website.
if I'm understanding your question correctly, so we have our ad, we drive people to our website, and the idea is to really drive people to our hotel page so that they can book, and then it drives over to the individual hotels' pages. So we're kind of seeing that conversion.
Okay, so that's the second half, would have been the second half of the, so other than an ad, what kind of drivers do we have to the website, other than our ads?
Our e-newsletters, as well as our social media, drives everything back to the website.
Okay, so all of our stuff drives to the website. Is there anything else that delivers people to our website other than our own advertising?
I'm trying to,
Be like another way does Visit Slow's website connect with ours? Is that a big connector? Is Visit Cal or are there other connectors? Is Expedia? I often go from Expedia to the hotel sites, but
at this point, we're not utilizing Expedia as part of our paid media plan. I do believe that our regional partners, like SlowCal, do drive back to our website, but I wouldn't have that performance metrics on those, but that's something I can
so
explore.
is that a performance metrics that
If
we
there
can?
was, I would be with SlowCal, but I can look into that.
Okay, so you can't measure where somebody's coming from into your website, other than if they started with one of your ads.
I believe we have our Google Analytics that we can look into those metrics.
Okay. And then the other half of it, of course, is then going out, because what I'm really interested in is in conversions. And so first, what is a Google conversion? It's not going to be a conversion to a sold hotel room, I'm guessing, but what is a conversion when you're talking about it?
So on our website, we have certain click-throughs. So we have Book Now, or the clicks on the hotel partners. That's a conversion. Calls could be a conversion. What else do we have on our website? But mostly I believe we have those two conversions set up. Sorry, I don't have it all in front of me, but those are examples of conversions. So they're getting to the website, they're going to our hotel page, they're clicking on the either like details or the phone number. That could be part of the conversion as well.
Okay, so when we saw that Google conversions, that would be people leaving our website, going to what we at least believe would be making a reservation or at least investigating a hotel.
Yes,
Okay, and was that number 22,000? Am I remembering that right?
I believe so. Let me see. I know we had that on here.
Yeah.
Bear with me.
Google,
23,000.
23,000, okay. Did we do any special events last year? I didn't see that in any of the report. Did we fund any special events last year?
We supported the, I think, tree lighting, I believe.
Okay.
What do you mean, did we do?
Well, for instance, I think one year we actually supported the Grover Beach's music festival, the soup.
We
whatever it's
did
called.
support Harvest Festival through our events page and through social media content. We also did support some of our city initiatives like the tree lighting. We highlight throughout the year all of the other events. Like, for example, we have our upcoming Easter egg hunt. So that's something that we would highlight on our website and through social media.
Okay, and maybe the question would have actually been for Sheridan if she was here, since it's sort of outside of your purview.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand that you promote those events. I'm actually talking about, we had set aside $10,000 or
Yeah,
something.
you're asking about funding
Funding.
those events,
There you
which I
go.
believe actually is not part of our budget, but
That's
part
right.
of the TBID's budget,
Yeah.
correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
All right.
And
I
then just going back to your other question, so with the website, aside from all of the tactics that we have in place that are driving traffic to the Visit Arroyo Grande website, also CCTC, SlowCal, any of those kinds of websites that we can get on and have them driving traffic also do. But we could look in Google Analytics and pull, what are the sources of the traffic? Is it organic? Are people typing in the URL directly? Are they coming from another website? We can certainly look at that.
So basically, we've been just tracking the drivers that we're initiating, and not necessarily the total drivers. So
Yeah,
okay. But we
Google
see the
Analytics,
total, we
yeah.
see the total visits to the site. That includes all of them, I assume.
Yeah, and
Not just the ones we
I mean, we can drill down anytime we want. We have all that data. It's just the way Google Analytics is, it's like you could spend 15 hours. I mean, there's so many things you can track. So we pull out the things based on the marketing plan that we want to be tracking on a regular basis, but the data's there. We can always go back and pull any of that information if we need to.
And do we have, are we, and I don't know if they would ever share this with us, do we go to the booking sites like, well, in our case, Best Western would probably be the biggest booking site, and checking with them to see if they are tracking what's coming from us directly to them, and any idea on
I don't know if
conversion rate?
we've tried directly with that. We've tried that with many clients in the past. It's really hard to get that information. And so since we don't have a booking engine on the site, once people bump off of that and go to some hotel, Best Western or whatever it is, all we know, that to us is a conversion. We got them to the site, we interested them in a lodging property, and they went, but we don't have that data. It's really hard to get that data back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mayor Pro Tem, Ashlee Akers of Verdin is on Zoom, and she's raised her hand, so
Oh, absolutely, go ahead. Yeah, she can.
Ashlee, I think you can speak now.
Great, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate that on the website specifically. So how we break that down is we look into a few categories. So we look at our search, we look at our direct, so anybody actually typing in the URL. We look at any referral traffic from social media, our referral traffic from our paid, as well as our referral traffic from sites, as you mentioned, Mary, CCTC, Visit California. We can provide all of those details in a report if you would like to look over the last year. We do have, because the GA4 switchover, we have access to the last 10 months specifically for those metrics. So we can just do a follow-up and provide additional information. And just another clarification, yes, Central Coast Tourism Council has been around for quite some time and it's how Visit California separates the state. The state of California is such a large state, so they separate the different regions, and the Central Coast region has from Santa Cruz down to Ventura County. And currently there's 4 different spots for each region. And SLOCAL's region, there are 4 representatives, myself being one, Molly Kano in the city of SLO, Michael from Morro Bay, and Gordon from Pismo Beach. And we all serve as representation for this region from a county and from a bigger perspective to support the efforts Visit California is doing. So I just wanted to add a little clarification to that.
Thank you. Can we just leave her kind of open without creating? Sure. Okay, just in case she has. The other question, since we have a relationship with SLOCAL, do we have a sense of what our website on SLOCAL, what kind of activity they get on our website on SLOCAL?
I don't know that they've shared that with us, but it's something that we can ask them for.
Okay. All right.
We don't have that reported to us monthly or quarterly, but we could find out.
Okay.
Yeah. So how that works too is we get what's shared out from a broad perspective is SLOCAL says we've shared 8,000 referrals this month. We don't have it set up by individual cities. So what gets reported in our SLOCAL marketing committee meetings is total referral traffic to partners. But we can go back and ask them if that's of interest to the council.
Okay. Yeah, appreciate that. Thank you. And then I just, what seems like, well, let me ask this question first. So we've just done a new website. Do we have a comparison? And I guess it almost sounds like we started a new website and they changed the analytics. Do we have a sense of how our new website is working compared to our old website? Is there a metric that we can actually look at there and say, it'd probably be something like how long are people on it, or do they look at multiple pages? You know, do we have a metric that measures the new website?
I think that we could go back in and look at our quarterly reporting and our annual reporting to see kind of those year-over-year changes. But it's true, like you just said, with the new Google Analytics switching over, it's kind of challenging to, because we only have the 10 months of data for this year versus last year, but we can get an idea of how it's performing. Also, we can work with our web team to do kind of a strategic kind of overview of performance, which is something that we are looking into with Sheridan.
And it's sort of, it seems like the data is really volatile. I'm a little bit surprised at 38% and then 22% up and those kinds of things. Is that common? I know I've seen this report many times, but I've never noticed that much volatility. Is that fairly common that we would see those big bumps in activity up and down?
Yes, and I'm sure there's some benchmarks we could kind of share with you too after this. If you'd like, I can send you over something as well.
Yeah, those are my questions. Thank you.
I just wanted to piggyback, Mayor Pro Tem.
Sure.
We do have a line item in the TBID that has event sponsorships. Is that what you were asking
That's what
about?
I was asking about.
And I think, I want to say it was like we sponsored the Spartan race and there were a few other things, but anyways.
I'll follow up separately. Okay, so any other questions? All right, I will open this. This is a public hearing, yeah. So I'll open this. All right, with that, I'll open this to the public for anyone who has questions or comments on this item. See no one here. Let's go ahead and check online and see if there's anyone else.
Any members of the public on Zoom that would like to make a comment, please raise your hand. There are no raised hands.
All right. All right, with that, I'll bring it to my council for comments and possible motion.
Do you want to comment first?
Thank you for your presentation, and I have definitely enjoyed the ad campaigns. Coastal Grandmother, you're killing me. Huh? I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, excellent work. I love the representation. I love the new website. I love the graphics. Just always feel very confident that you are just doing an excellent job for us. Those numbers ebb and flow, they always do, so, but I appreciate the update, and I'm ready to make a motion whenever Mayor Pro Tem is ready.
I guess I have a little bit of a contrary comment, and I think you guys have probably heard this from me before, but I have always had some doubts about whether we have the kind of conversion to actual hotel sales, a metric that we can put our finger on that says that it's justified spending $300,000 here. And granted, it's, in one sense, I think a lot of people think of it as free money because we're not taking it out of our general fund, but in fact, we own it, it's ours. We're responsible for it. I'm absolutely confident that we're getting great representation, great presentation tonight. I'm much more comfortable with the mechanics of how we're handling the rest of the operation of that committee and commission. I am concerned that we have this, which is really a benefit to the hotels, but none of the hotels are here, and we never hear from the hotels. So is it a benefit? So we happen to be at the 10-year point. We happen to be at the end of a 3-year strategic plan. And I will next year be looking for a much more solid metric about that we're getting, you get 22,000 possible conversions. I'm trying to remember what our number was. I think we said everybody gets on our side, 4% of them book. So 4% of 22,000 is X many room nights, but I don't know what that number is that our hotels would provide us. So I would be looking for some sort of a much more solid metric because like I say, we own this, we're responsible for this. When people look on their bill, it may be a fee, but they see a tax. And this is us, and we're hearing, hidden fees. We're seeing special legislation on that. We're hearing we're overtaxed. Every time I turn around, you're taxing me somewhere else. And so I do think we have a responsibility to look at this, you know, what I call from a higher standpoint than just, yes, our ad programs are working, you know, that they're doing what an ad program's supposed to do. The question is whether it actually converts into something that we're expecting to see. So with that, yeah, I'm interested in hearing the motion.
I will just counter your statement
Okay.
with marketing is a really, you know, having done it for so long, it's a special thing because when you do it right, you don't really notice it. It's when you stop doing it that you notice it. So I caution us to, there's something just for one day for them to say, hey, let's take a weekend trip, and then, oh yeah, let's go to Arroyo Grande. So they may not have booked something, but they've seen enough, and they've been exposed to us enough to come and eat in our restaurants and shop in our shops. So I think it's more than just hotels. Obviously, the AGTBID is, you know, heads and beds, and that's our number one goal. But we do face an uphill battle in that our hotels don't participate. But it doesn't mean they're not reaping the rewards. So I think it'd be hard for us to find that that metric that you're searching for, but good luck with that. I hope that we're able to. With that, I'll make a motion to, oh, did you want to?
Yeah, I actually want to respond.
Oh, yeah. Feel
so
free to respond.
As an old operations guy who's been, you know, I'm general manager for, what, a total of 30 years, so a little bit of marketing, and, you know, I've used the necessary evil comment before, but I understand what you're saying. It is very opaque, and it is hard to picture a world without marketing, but, you know, it might be a good thing. You know, I'm just saying that I do think we have some responsibility to look at whether it's actually working. If the hotels were literally paying this, then I would feel very comfortable, but they're not. This is just a pass-through, and like I say, to their customer, this is a tax. So I do think we sort of owe it to the whole universe of fees and taxes to take a really hard look at that. Did you want to say something, Mary? I was going to give you, I never did close the public.
There is nothing we would love more than benchmarks and concrete ways of measuring. And if there was a way we could get that data from a hotel, and I wish there was an easy way we could set up some way where it was automated. But that's why we look so closely at the TOT, because that is an indicator, and also just trends of other destinations within the county and also outside of the county. But the TOT, if we look back to the 2019 numbers that Natalie had up there, we are at about 40% increase, and that was pre-COVID. So we're back way above where we were before COVID. So that's one of the metrics, but yeah, we'll continue to think about, you know, what is a more tangible metric, because we like that too. It's a way for us to measure what we're doing and knowing how to navigate forward for success. So that's
all right, thank you.
I think they've done an amazing job, and I understand it gets really complicated trying to parse out the results with the hotels. But if the goal is to just highlight the community and make people aware that it's a fun place to visit, I think they've done a great job. So.
So I'll make two motions in one unless our city council tells me I can't. So I'll move to approve the annual report presented by Verdin Marketing, and I'll move a resolution, the city council of the city of Arroyo Grande declaring its intention to continue the Arroyo Grande Tourism Business Improvement District, to continue the basis for and to levy the assessments for the district, and to set a date for the public hearing on the district and the assessment for the 24-25 fiscal year.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. If we could have a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember George?
Yes.
Councilmember Secrest?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Guthrie?
Yes. All right, and with that, we will go to, do we want to call them back for the kids they want to make comments?
thank you. Well, have a nice evening. Hope it went well. I don't know. We weren't listening. We were talking about family. Okay. All right, that takes us to item 13, council communications. I always turn to Barnett first.
No, thank you.
No. I know, right?
I just have some feedback, very good feedback. I'm just saying, all of the ads that I have been served for the survey, where I got to see Shane and Bill and Shannon and Chief Martinez and Chief Lieberman, I think that those ads are fantastic. And my question would be, you don't have to give me an answer today, but is there a way for you to give us those metrics to see the engagement and the conversions from those ads to
Only Lon would ask this.
effectiveness?
I will talk to our consultant about that and get
Okay.
back to the council.
Yeah, but
yes.
good job, very good job.
Where are you seeing these ads?
I know.
They're on Instagram.
social media?
and- Yeah, and Facebook, and they're great. They're little snippets, and each one just drives people to the survey, and they're fantastic. They're all little videos.
Wow. Awesome.
All right. Well, hearing no more council communications. Oh,
Not sorry, but I do have something to say. I think this is the right place to do it, and I know you'll tell me if it's not. I was contacted by a resident of my district, District 1, regarding his hope that we would consider flying a commemorative flag to commemorate May 2024 as National Military Appreciation Month. And I hadn't really heard of this, so looking into it more, and maybe you all are aware, but it was the labeling May as that month was introduced by Senator John McCain in 1999, and it honors everyone currently serving in the military, combat units, and otherwise. And it highlights the fact that the United States military is the largest employer, I think, in the world. And in my mind, I was trying to figure out the different military holidays. Veterans Day honors those who served, and Memorial Day, of course, honors those who have died. So I'm asking tonight if anyone would join me to at least ask to put this idea on the agenda so we can discuss it. I don't really understand how something, I know some of the legal aspects, but I don't know the real protocol on getting a flag approved or even just an honor, like the honorary statements that we, the proclamations that we do. So I don't know if anyone would support me in that, but I would be interested in having us take a look at that.
I would support you in that, absolutely.
Thank you.
we probably need to do that as part of a larger discussion, Mr. Downing, in terms of commemorative flags, because we do have a pretty robust process for that.
Yes, we do. So
Right.
I believe this is the first part of that process, asking to agendize it at a future meeting, so we will look at scheduling that.
Can it also include, and maybe I'm just the only one that's not aware, but how do we decide who we will do a proclamation for? Is that a lesser,
That's a different thing.
I know it's a different thing, but can we also, I'm wondering about how that happens as well, because I know certainly that commemorative flags are quite a big deal, and we just don't, routinely just let people have those, but I also thought a proclamation might be nice if the flag didn't work.
So we'll put that information together in an email and share it with the council, just as for informational purposes after the meeting.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion?
No, thank you.
Okay. Then I will turn it over to our city attorney to announce closed session.
Thank you, Mayor. There's one closed session item this evening, conference with real property negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8. The property is 400 West Branch Street in Arroyo Grande. The agency negotiators are Matt Downing, City Manager, Bill Robeson, Assistant City Manager, Public Works Director, and Isaac Rosen, City Attorney. Negotiating parties include Deb Patel on behalf of Kamala Hotels and the Housing Authority of San Luis Obispo People's Self-Help Housing, and under negotiation are price and terms of payment.
All right. So let's go ahead and open up public comment for the closed session item. And seeing no one coming forward here, we'll check in with City Clerk.
If any members, there are no members of the public on Zoom.
Thank you. Then we'll close public comment and we will adjourn to closed session.